I sense a great disturbance in the Star Wars fan community. It's as if a movie title was announced and a million voices groaned in exasperation. Hello, welcome back to the road to episode 8, my ongoing series where I chart the road to the release of Star Wars episode 8, The Last Jedi on the 30th of December 2017 and the 14th and 15th of December 2017 around the rest of the world. And today I'm going to be talking about, of course, the announcement of the title of the Han Solo movie. For so long it's been called the Untitled Han Solo Star Wars movie. And a week ago, director Ron Howard, who took over from the previous directors halfway through the shoot, announced on social media what the title of the movie is going to be. A cute little bit where he's like, yeah, we've wrapped production. I want to thank the great crew who worked on... Can we say what the title is? Brings out a board and there it is. Boom! Solo, a Star Wars story. Yeah. There's been a lot of opinions on this. My first opinion was, really? Really? Solo? That's the fucking title of the movie? And there'll be people who've been exasperated with this, there's been people who've been annoyed by this, offended by this, there's been people who say, well, I've been offended by this movie's existence from day one to begin with, I don't care what it's called, it's going to suck anyway, they shouldn't do a Han Solo movie. And you know, over the years I felt really conflicted about this, I don't really want to see it. I was a bit more won over when I saw Alden Ehrenreich when he came out on one of the celebrations and he was announced, and he seemed like he had that kind of swagger and charm that Harrison Ford did back in the day, and so it felt like a natural kind of fit for the role. But still, I'm not excited about it. I'm intrigued. It's like a morbid curiosity I have, but at the same time, I think the title is just, you know, not a fan, you know. It doesn't bother me, but it's just like, you had years, and that's all you could come up with. And then people say, what else they're going to call her? You know, the Kessel Run, you know, less than 12 parsecs, the Star Wars story. I don't know, you know, Smuggler's Run, you know, I mean, I don't know what the story of it is. I think it's probably going to be to do with the Millennium Falcon. Obviously, Lando is in the movie, so I think that it's going to be about, you know, the exchange of the Falcon between Lando and Han. And that's how the film ends, you know, Han going off in the Falcon, and then we kind of have the falling out and we see them again in Empire Strikes Back. But I don't know. I mean, it almost feels like by this logic you would call Rogue One, you know, Death Star, a Star Wars story. Like you're just kind of naming the central focus of the film in the title, which I guess is fine. You know, Star Wars. It's about wars in space, and I don't know. I think that Solo, a Star Wars story, it just doesn't roll off the tongue very well. Rogue One was a cool title. I think, you know, pretty much anyone can kind of agree to that, even if they didn't like the film. Rogue One was a pretty good title. Solo, you know. Oof, I don't know. I really don't know. Even, I mean, it's to do with the word as well. You know, if they did an Obi-Wan movie and they called it Kenobi, you know, that's kind of cool, because Kenobi is a cool name. Solo, which people could argue it's a cool name, but it just, as a singular kind of a title, it just doesn't seem to fit very well for me. But you know, it is what it is, and we're going to see what the hell that they have to offer when the film comes out. I'm really not sure, you know. It's just going to be interesting to kind of see that first trailer and see what the flavor is going to be. With Rogue One, I feel like they had a bit more freedom to play around a bit because they had characters that we'd never seen before. Obviously, they had Darth Vader, and then we learned when the film came out, Grand Moff Tarkin, but, you know, I don't know. I really don't know, and especially with the turmoil that has been the making of this film, I don't know how it's going to turn out, but if anyone can kind of steer the ship in the right direction, I feel like Ron Howard is a perfect guy to put in that position. So, you know, he's been working on it for many months now, and will obviously oversee the film as it gets to that road to completion, so we'll see what happens. So there we go, my thoughts on the title. Also in this video I want to talk about the Star Wars Battlefront II Beta, which came out a couple of weeks ago. And there was a week of access to people to play a couple of rounds of the new Star Wars Battlefront game. and basically so they can kind of get data, you know, see what's working, see what's not working, and I'll leave that one in, and you know, just mining data, and also just giving the fans a kind of a demo, so to speak, you know, to get them excited for the game, to get people who maybe weren't interested in getting it to get on board with the new kind of style of gameplay and the different locations. You got to play on Maz Kanata's castle map, which was awesome. I loved it. You get to play on Takodana, but also to go inside Maz's castle. And it was only like after a few days of playing that I realized you could go down into the basement where Rey went, and I was like, oh my god, this is the room where, you know, Luke Skywalker's lightsaber was. And it feels crazy to me that I'm kind of marking out over a movie location from a film that only came out a couple of years ago, but The Force Awakens is just so steadily becoming like almost a classic movie to me. You know, it's crazy how it works, and how the themes from The Force Awakens feel so classic to me already, and it was exciting just to explore that location. And then we had a Starfighter map, which was above some planet called Fondor, and we were, you know, there's like a Star Destroyer in dock, and you're supposed to attack it and stuff, and fly through the inside of this ship with these like power constructions and blow them up. I thought that was awesome. I was not a big fan of the flying the ships mode in the original Battlefront, but here I was really good at it. You know, it was great, and I just thoroughly enjoyed it, and can't wait for that aspect of the game, which I never thought I'd say. The space battles, the Starfighter mode that they're calling it. And then we had Galactic Assault, which is a big map on Theed in Naboo, and that was cool to kind of go into that prequel era and to play as a battle droid or a clone trooper, and to see all of those like things like fly as the Naboo ship and all those kind of things from the prequels that, you know, I feel like the prequels are getting a bit of a renaissance. You know, I think a lot of people are warming to them, or, you know, just, I don't know, there's something about the prequels that seems to be a bit more popular these days. There's so much, just to go off topic, well, not off topic because this is the road to episode 8, but there's so many people who want Anakin in episode 8. They want Hayden Christensen back. It's a huge following, and it's kind of surprising how things kind of go up and down and change over the years. There's no denying that the prequels are becoming more popular. Not to say that they're quote unquote popular, but they're becoming more popular than they were. You know, I just feel like that's something that's happening. Anyway, so you got to play as Rey, Darth Maul. I didn't get to play as Boba Fett or Han Solo, but that was fun. Darth Maul's just crazy in the game, like holy shit. But they've changed a lot about the gameplay. When I first played, you can see on my gaming channel, my first play of it, I was terrible. I didn't know what I was doing, and it's very similar to the first Battlefront, but it's very different at the same time. You know, the mechanics have changed. The certain things that you used to aren't there anymore. You have to kind of adapt to it. And now the beta has ended, I've gone back to the original Battlefront just to get my fix before it comes out next month. And I was like, oh, I don't know what to do. Like, I was so used to the Battlefront II mechanics, and so I love how it feels different, but it doesn't feel wildly different. It's comfortable, but it's pushing me outside my you know, outside of my box a little bit too, and I liked that. I liked the challenge of it. I loved all the new details. I won't go into everything, obviously, but I'm sure I'll be talking about this game more and more as it comes out and stuff. But I was really impressed with the beta, and I really enjoyed it. There are things I didn't like, but overall it was overwhelmingly positive, and I cannot wait for Star Wars Battlefront 2. And it's funny because back, 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago at Celebration, I did, in the Road to Episode 7, I was talking about all the stuff at Celebration, and someone commented, are you going to talk about the Battlefront trailer? And I was like, no, I don't really care about that. You know, yeah, it looks nice and everything, but I'm not into those kind of multiplayer games. And look what happened. You know, it became one of my favorite games of all time, and I want to do kind of an updated review of it, because now I've finished everything on the original Battlefront. I've done all the achievements, all the accomplishments, everything. So I feel like I've fully conquered that game now, and I'm looking forward to the challenge of conquering the new one, you know. It's exciting to me. I just love the progression, just earning stuff and all that kind of thing. It's really fun to me, especially in that world of Star Wars. And, you know, you get to have a fun competitive game, but also within that world of Star Wars, where, again, the sound design. One of my favorite parts was Slave 1 in the new Battlefront has the sonic imploder from Attack of the Clones, you know, where the bomb drops and all the sound just cuts out for a second. It's like the whom, like that's, I'll never forget being in the cinema watching Attack of the Clones, and that moment was just so awesome, just so cool and different. The sound design was great, and that's one of the things that the original game was so good at, was the sound design. But this new Battlefront, it looks great, sounds great, issues obviously, but I'm so excited for it, and I'm no doubt I'll be talking about it in future videos. And it feels nice that it's being released a month before The Last Jedi, because that was so perfect 2 years ago when Battlefront came out. I got it Loved it. It just totally immersed me in Star Wars, and just gave me that month of enjoyment to kind of keep me at bay as far as the Star Wars stuff was concerned until The Force Awakens came out. It's a nice buffer, you know. I won't be sitting around for a month kind of going, oh, Last Jedi, when's it going to get here? I'm going to be like, Battlefront, I'm in Star Wars, this is amazing, and then, oh, Last Jedi, you know. So, yeah, I think it's going to be a cool kind of excitement builder to play Battlefront 2 just before The Last Jedi comes out. So there we go. That's my thoughts on the beta of the new Star Wars Battlefront 2, and my thoughts on the Solo, a Star Wars story movie title. Leave your thoughts down below on that one, and I'll see you in the next video.